Hello and welcome again. This is how to use VI like a pro for Medionics. My name is Ahmed. In this lecture we are continuing our section how to use VI in an advanced mode, or how to use advanced features of VI. Now, suppose you are working in a text file using VI and then all of a sudden due to poor search, for example, or the computer you're working on crashed and you have lost what you were editing. VI provides a recovery mode where you can recover the lost changes, the unsaved changes in the file, just like Microsoft Word does when you suddenly close the file without saving the changes you made. You can recover those changes. It's a very powerful feature. In order to see how it can be used, let's open our file here, index.html, and let's make a new change. Okay, this is an unsaved change. Okay, and instead of saving this file, I will just close the terminal. Okay, so now I have closed the terminal and I did not save the file. If I have a look at this directory, okay, I will see that I have a special kind of file here. It has the same name as the original file. It's index.html, but it is preceded by a dot. And as you know, in Linux and Unix in general, if a file is preceded by a dot, it is a hidden file. That's why when I wanted to view this file, I had to use the A argument with the ls in order to view this hidden file. So it's preceded by a dot to be hidden, and it has an extension that is following the normal extension of the file, which is .swp, or a swap file. As long as this file is here, I can recover the original file using this command or this argument in VI. It's VI minus R small. Okay, and I press enter at index.html, and as you can see here, we have a message that says recovery complete. You should check if everything is okay. Or I press enter and I'll go to the file, and as you can see, the last change that I have made, this is an unsaved change, has been recovered. So what I have to do is ensure that everything is okay, ensure that all the changes I have made are present, and then save the file and remove this index.swap, because if I did not move it, every time I open VI, every time I open the file using VI, it will present me with this message again. It will tell me that this file swap already exists, so do you want to cover it or edit it? It's a little bit confusing. VI itself is confused, so you have to remove this file once you have ensured that all the changes you have made are successfully recovered. Okay, and finally, if you type vi-r without any arguments, you will have a list of all the files that can be recovered with some information about those files, like when has it been modified and when it has been edited, the editor, the user that edited it, the host name, and other important information that you may want to view. So let's remove this swap file, and if I open index again, I am back, and I of course have the change that I have saved. Now let's have a look at another important feature of VI advanced usage, is that in VI, just like any decent text editor, I can use copy and paste. But when you see this part of the section, you will see that VI is much more powerful than all other text editors, even the GUI ones, in this particular feature, the copy and the paste. Okay, before we delve into copy and paste or cut and paste in VI, you have to know that VI puts any text that you copy, yank, as the VI terminology dictates, using the Y, or delete using the D. This text is put in a special place called the buffer. Okay, this buffer is like a place in memory that VI puts in the text that you cut or copy. VI has two types of buffers, the named buffer and the unnamed buffer. So what's the difference? Okay, the unnamed buffer is a buffer that automatically saves your changes, it saves your deletions, and it can be up to 9 items. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 till 9. It saves in it all the deletions you make and all the changes that you make. Recall from last lectures when we told you that you can use the U command in order to undo the last change that you did, and you can use U multiple times to roll through all the changes that you have made in the file. And this undo chain ends at the number 9. You can only undo 9 changes in the file. You cannot undo more than this. So this is called the unnamed buffer. Okay, so when you delete a text, it is normally placed in the unnamed buffer. This is done automatically for you, in contrast of the named buffer that we'll have a look at it later when you finish this slide. The named buffer, in contrast, is you have to particularly choose this place in memory or the place in the buffer where you want to save your yanked or your deleted text. But the unnamed buffer is saved automatically. So how do we paste the deleted text in from an unnamed buffer? It's simple. We use the quotation mark, it's this mark, plus the number, and the number here refers to the place in the buffer that you have placed your deleted text, or that deleted text have been placed automatically, and it is placed in a fashion that is called last in, first out. What does that mean? This means that the last change you have made will be the first change that you can paste. In other words, let's have a look at our file. Okay, this is index.html. Okay, and suppose that I have deleted the body. Okay, I will delete this HR. Okay, so this is the second deletion I made, and I will also delete this line that read send an email to so and so. I'll go to the end of the document and I'll press the quotation mark followed by, let's see, number 1 and P. Okay, as you can see, the first line in the buffer, the first place in the buffer contained the last change that I made. Remember, I did 3 changes, so this is the first one. So let's have a look at the third one. Okay, if you have a look here, the third one is the oldest change that I have made. Okay, so again, the last change you make in a file, or the last deletion you make in a file, is buffer number 1. Okay, let's write this here. The last deletion is buffer number 1, and the oldest is the largest number. Okay, but what if you, and this is very common when using unnamed buffers, what if you want to check all the text that you have in the buffer, all the text that you have in the unnamed buffer? You are searching for something you deleted, but you don't remember where it should be in the 9 places of the buffer. So VI provides you with a very handy technique to do this. Okay, let's have a look at this. You will first use the quotation followed by number 1 followed by the P to get the last item. As we said, it's last in, first out. And if it's not what you want, okay, you're going to press U to remove the pasted text, because as you can see here, we are pasting the first place in the buffer in the file. Okay, and if it's not the text you want, you will press U to remove this text. You are undoing the paste, and then you press the dot, and as you can remember, the dot repeats the last action you did, and the last action here was pasting the first place in the buffer. But the point is, as you can see, that the undo automatically increments the buffer number. What does this mean is that it removes it shifts the first place in the buffer to be the second, and the second to be the third, and the third to be the fourth, etc. It cycles through the buffer, and this way you can always use quotation 1 P and then U and then dot in order to search and cycle through all the items in the buffer until you find what you're looking for. Well, this needs an example. Okay, let's delete those 2 lines. Now I make deletions. I make maybe the third and the fourth deletion, and let's delete this line as well. And now I have made several deletions, and I don't know which one is which. I want a specific change that I want, yeah, maybe a specific deletion that I want, but I don't know where exactly it is in the buffer. So I'm gonna use this handy trick from VI. Let's press the quotation, followed by 1, followed by P. Okay, this is not what I want, so I'm gonna press U, and then press the dot. Okay, as you can see, when I press the dot, it automatically got me the second deletion that I made, but it's not the one I want either. So U and dot, and then U and dot, and then U and dot. You see, what I'm doing here is I'm cycling through all the unnamed buffers that I have in my memory in order to see which text I want exactly from the buffer. This is very important. Unnamed buffers is a very important concept in VI because it not only handles the deletions but also the undo operations that you do. So perhaps the text that I wanted was this HR tag. Okay, once I find it, I'll continue working normally. The named buffer is much easier than the unnamed buffers, and it's very handy. It's more handy actually than the unnamed buffers. It offers you 26 places to save text. You imagine this? You have 26 places, which are the alphabets from A to Z. These places you can use to copy or cut text and save it in memory in this place. And whenever you want to paste this text, you just use one of the places that you have saved text in to paste that particular text in. So imagine, for example, that you have a file and this file contains hundreds of lines, and you want to, for example, you have in this file have a list. This list contains a lot of items, and you want to formulate another list from a number of these items, not all the items. So you want to selectively copy or cut those items and paste it in a new list. Let's see that in action. So have a look here. This is a list, an unordered list to be precise, and this if you are familiar with HTML, you will know exactly what this is, but if you're not, consider this just as a list containing some items. And imagine that I want to copy, let's say this is from 1 to 9 items. I want to copy the first, the third, the fifth, and the ninth. Okay, just those 4 items into a new list. Okay, so let's create this new list here, and we are waiting for the items. So in order to copy the first item, okay, I'll copy it in a named buffer. Okay, so I'll do this. It's the quotation followed by an A followed by yank command. Okay, so here I have copied the first. Let's copy the third. Okay, so let's put it in the B. Let's B and YY. Okay, the fifth, same thing. C and the ninth. Okay, now I want to paste these items in the new list. Okay, it's very easy. It's just using the quotation mark followed by the named buffer place followed by paste. Okay, so I put them in A, B, C, and D. Let's put the B. Okay, then the C. Then the D. Sorry. Okay, so as you can see here, I have copied these 4 items from this list and I have pasted them in a new list. Okay, I have used the name buffers in order to save each and every single item of the ones that I want to copy in a special place in my buffer. Okay, and imagine the power you can use having 26 places in your memory to store text in it, and you can not only copy, you can also cut. So for example, let's cut this fourth item, put it in an E. Okay, so it will be like this, E and DD. Okay, and let's move to the last. Just paste it like this. It's very handy. Now the name buffer also has an even more powerful feature, is that you can append text to a buffer, and this can be done by replacing the small letter of the buffer name with the capital letter. What this means is that, imagine for example that we have here maybe the 6th and the 7th. Let's put them in a name buffer called F, but we are using here the capital form of F. Okay, you'll see what this means in a moment. Do it again. When using the capital form of the command, when you paste it, you will find that you can put several texts inside the same buffer. Okay, so the small letter F, if I use a small letter F, okay, when I copied the 7th item, it will replace the 6th item in the buffer. Okay, but when I use the capital form of the command, which is capital F, it appended the text. So again, let's see that maybe in a more illustrative example. I'm gonna copy this text until this angular bracket like this, put it in a name buffer, say G. So it will be G and yank till this angular bracket, and then from this angular bracket till the end of the line, I'm gonna put it in the same G. So, and if you remember, the capital Y means that I'm gonna yank till the end of the line. And if I want to paste the contents of G, you will find that these are the two items that are in the G buffer. It send me mail at, because I put it in the buffer first, and then I put the whole line again in the buffer. The capital Y has yanked all the line from the start of the cursor to the end, and the text that was before it. Both of these were in the buffer, the name buffer, which was named G.